Imagine this, right? It's Tuesday afternoon. You've got this major shipment of raw Vietnamese hair that you've been tracking for weeks, and it is currently just detained at customs.
Oh, that is the worst feeling.
It's a nightmare. And on top of that, you have like three different customers in Abuja complaining loudly in your DMs about delivery delays. Your phone is ringing, and you are just fundamentally exhausted.
Yeah, and that's usually the exact moment when things get dangerous.
Exactly. Because in that exact moment of overwhelming stress, this little voice whispers the most dangerous piece of career advice ever invented, which is, if this were your true passion, it wouldn't be this hard.
It is an incredibly seductive thought. I mean, especially when you're just completely tired. We are culturally conditioned to believe that work is supposed to feel like this constant, joyful calling.
Right. And today we are going to completely shatter that illusion. Because for you, listening to this right now, as you pour your energy into building and scaling Baller's Hair HQ, listening to that little voice might actually be the fastest way to destroy your business.
Yeah.
So the source material we're diving into today is an analysis of Cal Newport's book, So Good They Can't Ignore You. And it provides the hard data to prove exactly why following your passion is, well, it's a trap.
What's fascinating here is that when researchers actually study the science of job satisfaction, they uncover a reality that contradicts almost everything printed on our coffee mugs
Right.
or graduation cards.
Totally.
The ultimate goal of our discussion today is to demonstrate that passion is absolutely not a prerequisite for a great career.
Wait, really? Not even a little bit.
Not at all. You don't need to feel it on day one. Passion is actually the hard-won reward you earn after cultivating rare and valuable skills.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because our mission for this deep dive is to relieve you of the anxiety of trying to, find your calling.
Yeah, that anxiety is paralyzing for so many people.
It really is.
Yeah.
So we are going to explore how adopting what the source calls the Craftsman Mindset is the actual mechanical secret to building an undeniable brand. And to prove that passion is a finish line rather than a starting line, we have to look at the ultimate supposed visionary.
Oh, yes. Steve Jobs.
Right. Steve Jobs.
Historically, Jobs is the poster child for the passion narrative. The popular legend suggests he started Apple because he had this burning, almost spiritual devotion to personal computers.
And that unyielding passion just changed the world, right? That's the story.
Right. But the source material points out that the real history is incredibly messy. In the early days, Jobs wasn't a tech visionary at all.
No, he was deeply immersed in Zen Buddhism.
Exactly. He was famous for walking around barefoot, seeking spiritual enlightenment. Apple did not begin as this grand, passionate mission to put a dent in the universe.
It started as a small-time, get-rich-quick scheme, basically, just to sell circuit boards to hobbyists. He didn't even love computers. He just saw an economic opportunity.
Yeah, the profound, legendary passion we associate with Steve Jobs was a byproduct. It emerged much later as a direct result of his accumulated mastery, his success, his hard work.
So it wasn't the fuel that started the engine.
No, not at all. And misunderstanding that sequence leads directly to what Newport identifies as the passion hypothesis trap.
Wait, I have to play devil's advocate here for a second.
Go for it.
If I don't start my business with a deep, burning passion for the product, what stops me from just giving up the second that shipment of hair gets lost in customs? Doesn't passion provide the armor you need to survive those brutal early days?
That is a very common assumption. But the psychology actually works in reverse.
How so?
Well, if you buy into the passion hypothesis, the idea that there's a singular true calling out there perfectly matched to your soul, you become hypersensitive to friction.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah, so a lost shipment or an angry customer isn't just a supply chain error anymore. Your brain interprets it as a cosmic sign that you're on the wrong path.
Wow. Because the cultural narrative tells us that if we're truly passionate, the work should feel effortless and magical.
Yes, exactly. The passion mindset creates chronic dissatisfaction. When the inevitable hardships of running a business occur, you think, well, maybe I'm supposed to be doing something else. Maybe I should quit selling hair and try catering or real estate.
So it just breeds these chronic job hoppers who are always looking for a friction-free existence that doesn't actually exist.
Precisely. And the psychological antidote to this is the Craftsman mindset.
So instead of focusing inward and asking, is this business making me perfectly happy? What can the world offer me? We shift our perspective outward.
You flip the equation entirely. The Craftsman mindset asks a very sobering blue-collar question. It asks, What can I offer the world?
It just strips away the self-centered anxiety.
It does. It focuses your energy entirely on the deliberate creation of value.
But value is a bit abstract, isn't it? If I'm rolling up my sleeves and sweating over my business every single day, what tangible asset am I actually putting in the bank?
You are depositing what the researchers call career capital.
Career capital. Okay.
Yeah. And to understand the mechanics of career capital, we have to look closely at self-determination theory. This is the actual psychological science of what makes human beings love their work.
So it's hard science, not just self-help.
Right. The research shows that genuine, enduring job satisfaction is generated by three specific psychological nutrients: autonomy, competence, and relatedness.
So what does this all mean for the day-to-day reality of running a brand like Baller's Hair HQ? I mean, how do those three big academic words translate into the actual feeling of passion?
Well, they translate fundamentally to your neurochemistry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let's break them down. Competence means you have mastered a difficult skill. When you master something complex, your brain actually rewards you with dopamine.
Nice.
Then relatedness means you feel connected to and respected by your community, which fulfills this deep evolutionary need for tribal value, and that releases serotonin.
Okay, I'm tracking.
And finally, autonomy. That means you have agency and control over your time, which drastically reduces stress-induced cortisol.
That makes perfect sense. So for you listening, spending 2 grueling years learning how to spot the subtle differences in raw Vietnamese bundles that builds your competence.
Exactly.
Then becoming known for that uncompromising quality builds relatedness. You gain genuine respect from women across the Abuja community. And the combination of that mastery and that respect literally alters your brain chemistry to create the feeling of passion.
You didn't find the passion, right? You engineered it.
Wow.
And the currency you use to engineer it is your career capital. Your rare and valuable skills act as purchasing power. But we do have to be careful here because not all skill markets operate the exact same way.
What do you mean?
The source distinguishes between a winner-take-all market and an auction market.
Okay, break that down for me. What is the functional difference there?
In a winner-take-all market, there is only one specific metric that dictates success. Let's look at a wig ventilator.
The artisan who makes custom wigs entirely by hand.
Right. In their specific world, the only thing that really matters is how flawlessly and rapidly they can tie microscopic knots of hair to a lace base.
Yeah, that single skill is the entire market.
Exactly. But running a comprehensive retail brand is definitely not that simple. If you just tie knots well but have no idea how to sell them, your business dies.
Which means you are operating in an auction market.
Right. Think about how a traditional auction works. The person who brings the most cash wins the prize. In an auction market for your career, the cash is a unique, disparate bundle of skills.
So you bid for market share by combining different types of career capital.
Yes.
So your capital is a unique recipe. It's your supply chain mastery, like knowing the chemical differences between a high-grade Chinese factory blend and authentic raw Vietnamese hair.
Yep.
But it's also your digital marketing savvy, figure out the algorithm to build a massive audience on TikTok and Instagram.
Exactly.
And it's your physical strategy, positioning your retail space perfectly behind Golden Spring Estate to capture that local foot traffic.
Those combined skills make you incredibly rare. But accumulating that capital requires an uncomfortable process. And this is honestly where most entrepreneurs fail.
Because they assume just working hard is enough.
Right. They assume that if they simply show up and work 10-hour days for 5 years, they will automatically accumulate maximum capital.
But wait, if I'm exhausted at the end of every week, doesn't that mean I'm growing?
Exhaustion does not equal execution. The human brain is biologically wired to seek homeostasis. It wants to automate tasks so it can conserve calories.
So if you just answer WhatsApp messages and pack orders the same way every single day, you hit a plateau very quickly.
Exactly. You are working, yes, but you are not acquiring new capital. To break the plateau, you must engage in deliberate practice.
Deliberate practice. Okay, so this is the difference between casually checking your phone all day versus sitting down and actively analyzing why your latest TikTok campaign had a high view count but a terrible conversion rate.
Exactly that. Deliberate practice is designed to be cognitively straining. It means hunting for your own blind spots.
That sounds intense.
It is. It might involve calling a customer who recently stopped buying from you and deliberately asking for brutally honest feedback about why they went to a competitor.
Oh, man. Your brain would actively resist doing that because it involves, like, ego depletion and mental strain.
It sounds miserable in the moment, right?
Yeah, completely miserable.
It is uncomfortable. But that mental strain is the exact mechanism that forces your skills to expand. And once you endure that deliberate practice and you finally hoard a massive amount of career capital, you get to spend it.
Okay, what are we buying?
According to the source material, the most valuable thing you can buy with career capital is control.
I love thinking about this part because control is the ultimate dream. I mean, imagine getting to a point where you decide Baller's Hair HQ is completely closed to the public except for Tuesdays and Thursdays.
The dream, right?
Yeah. The rest of the week is yours to travel, source, or just rest.
That level of autonomy is the peak of job satisfaction. However, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, the pursuit of control is a minefield.
A minefield.
The source explicitly warns of two devastating control traps that regularly destroy small businesses.
Okay, let's hear the first one.
The first control trap is attempting to grab control before you have actually accumulated the career capital to afford it.
Oh, I've seen this happen. So someone sees your brand flourishing in Abuja and they get seduced by the be your own boss aesthetic.
Right.
They quit their stable corporate job, get a flashy Instagram page, and immediately declare themselves a luxury hair CEO.
But they skip the deliberate practice.
Yeah.
They don't have the sourcing capital, so they get scammed by a vendor who sends them terrible synthetic hair disguised as raw.
Yikes.
And they don't have the relatedness capital, so no one behind Golden Spring Estate trusts them enough to actually buy anything.
So they successfully achieve total control over their schedule, like they can wake up at noon on a Wednesday, but they bought that freedom with an empty bank account of skills.
Exactly. They essentially just volunteered for unemployment.
That is the tragedy of the first trap, but you mentioned a second one.
Yes. The second control trap is arguably more insidious because it happens much later after you have actually become successful.
Okay, paint the picture for me. Let's say I've put in the years. I am the undisputed authority on raw bundles. Everyone from Lokogoma to Maitama knows the brand. I have massive career capital. What's the danger now?
Once you become that exceptionally valuable, the market will actively fight to prevent you from taking control.
Wait, really?
Yes, your value makes you a target. Let's say an international beauty franchise notices your regional dominance. They approach you with a massive buyout offer.
Okay.
They want to absorb Baller's Hair HQ, give you an astronomical corporate salary, and hand you the title of regional director to manage 10 of their locations.
I mean, that sounds like a massive victory. Most people would pop champagne for that.
On the surface, it is a victory. But the hidden cost is your autonomy. They will demand you work 60-hour weeks, fly to endless corporate meetings, and strictly follow their homogenized playbook.
Oh, wow. So you finally built enough capital to work only on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but the franchise is attempting to buy your freedom back by dazzling you with status and money.
Exactly. If you accept, you forfeit the very control you spent years bleeding for.
That really is a minefield. So you have to dodge the delusion of the first trap and the golden handcuffs of the second.
Yes.
How do you actually know when a bid for more control is safe? Like, how do you make that leap logically rather than emotionally?
The author provides a highly effective litmus test, and it's called the law of financial viability.
The law of financial viability.
And in the business world, money is the ultimate neutral truth teller. It does not care about your ego or your enthusiasm.
Okay, let's apply this neutrally to the listener's business. Say you're exhausted by the physical retail space, right? You have this grand vision to close the physical shop entirely and launch a 100% online luxury hair consulting service.
A huge pivot.
Right. You just want to sit on your laptop anywhere in the world and charge clients for your expert advice on what hair suits their lifestyle. But before you burn down your currently profitable business model to get that ultimate lifestyle control, you have to test it.
You must acquire concrete evidence that the market is actually willing to pay for that specific iteration of your capital.
So you keep the physical shop open, but you quietly offer a few online consultation slots on your website.
Exactly.
And if people in Abuja are actually willing to transfer 20,000 naira to your account just for 30 minutes of your verbal advice, then you have financial viability.
The market is validating your capital.
But if no one opens their wallet, you absolutely do not make the jump.
It serves as a structural reality check. Now, assuming you successfully navigate those traps, you secure your capital, and you establish unshakable control over your professional life.
You've made it.
You then arrive at the absolute peak of the craftsman journey, finding a unifying, world-changing mission.
This is the transition from running a highly profitable business to leaving a lasting legacy.
But again, this defies conventional wisdom. We are constantly told to start with a mission. The research argues that a true, viable mission cannot be invented on day one.
That makes sense.
A mission only becomes visible when you reach what scientists call the adjacent possible.
The adjacent possible. I love that concept. It is essentially the absolute cutting edge of your field.
Yes.
Think about it like climbing a massive mountain. When you're at the base camp, just launching your brand, you are surrounded by trees. Your vision is entirely limited to survival. Securing the next sale, paying rent, importing the first batch of bundles, you literally cannot see the broader horizon.
Because you lack the altitude. But fast forward 5 years. You have accumulated immense career capital. You've traveled to the donor temples in Asia. You understand the chemical complexities of the supply chains. And you've spent thousands of hours listening to the deep personal insecurities of the women sitting in your chair in Abuja.
And from that high vantage point, you start noticing patterns that a beginner simply cannot see.
Exactly.
You realize there's a silent epidemic of women struggling with severe alopecia or confidence-crushing medical hair loss, and they have no access to dignified medical-grade solutions.
And suddenly you see a mission.
Right, launching a nonprofit foundation to provide custom medical wigs across Nigeria.
That is a profound mission. But you could only discover it because your mastery pushed you to the boundary of the adjacent possible. Now, having a mission is inspiring, but executing it is where the danger returns.
Here's where it gets really interesting. If I am staring at this grand, world-changing mission, how do I go after it without accidentally bankrupting the profitable retail business I just spent years stabilizing?
You protect yourself by utilizing a strategy called little bets.
Little bets.
The psychology of entrepreneurs often drives them toward romantic all-or-nothing gambles. When they feel the pull of a grand mission, they want to sign a lease for a massive new warehouse in local Goma, hire a team of specialized stylists, and invest millions in a custom subscription app.
Which mathematically guarantees that if the idea has one tiny flaw, the entire company collapses.
Precisely. The little bet strategy forces you to act like a venture capitalist with your own ideas. Instead of building the massive infrastructure, you manually test a rough beta version of the service with just 5 of your most trusted, loyal customers for 1 single month.
No custom app, no new warehouse.
Nope. You handle everything through a simple WhatsApp group, and if the service totally fails or the logistics are a nightmare, it is not a financial disaster.
It's just cheap data.
Exactly. You tweak the variables and you make another little bet until the math works.
And once you find the specific bet that scales, you face the final hurdle. You have to make the mission spread.
Yes, and the source introduces the law of remarkability for this phase. To make your mission catch fire in the culture, you must present it in a purple cow venue.
A purple cow venue, meaning an environment or a presentation so deeply unusual that people's brains simply cannot ignore it, and they are compelled to make a remark about it to someone else.
Think about the standard marketing in your industry. Running a generic 10% off flash sale is completely invisible to the modern consumer.
Yeah, their brains just filter it out.
So an unremarkable idea is just posting another glamorous photo on Instagram. But what if you took a section of your shop behind Golding Spring Estate and built a transparent hair forensic lab?
Oh, wow. Now that disrupts consumer expectations.
Right.
You put a high-powered digital microscope right on the front counter connected to an iPad. You offer a free public service where a customer can bring in a strand of cheap hair they bought from a competitor, put it under the lens, and see the truth for themselves.
It's brilliant.
You show them the harsh processing chemicals, the frayed cuticles, the synthetic plastic fibers melted into the mix. It is undeniable forensic proof of why your raw hair commands a premium price.
That is the essence of remarkability. The customer is so shocked by the visual evidence that they immediately text their friends like, "You will not believe what they just proved to me under a microscope at Baller's Hair HQ."
The craftsmanship itself becomes the viral marketing. The mission spreads without you having to scream for attention.
Exactly.
I love how actionable that is. But let's bring all this high-level mountain climbing theory down to the ground. If I'm adopting this craftsman mindset, what does my actual day-to-day lifestyle look like on a random Monday?
It requires a radical shift in how you allocate your cognitive energy. We have to contrast the busy mindset with the craftsman mindset.
Okay, what's the busy mindset doing?
Well, the busy person equates physical exhaustion with forward momentum. They spend their entire Monday morning in a state of reactive, shallow work.
Shallow work, meaning they are constantly context switching. They answer a WhatsApp chat, jump over to an Instagram comment, physically run down the street to hand off a delivery, and then mindlessly scroll TikTok, trying to spot trends.
And by 5 p.m., their brain is completely depleted. But because they never engaged in sustained cognitive strain, their actual career capital hasn't grown a single inch.
Wow. That's a trap so many of us fall into.
It is. The craftsman operates systematically to avoid this. The absolute core of their daily routine is deep work.
Break down the mechanics of deep work for me.
Deep work requires isolating your brain from all shallow stimuli so it can process complex information. This means blocking out a dedicated window, perhaps 2 hours every morning, with absolutely zero distractions.
So the phone is in another room, the notifications are disabled.
Because every time your phone buzzes, your brain breaks focus, and it takes 20 minutes just to
Bleh.
get that deep concentration back.
Oh, wow. 20 minutes.
Yes. You protect those 2 hours aggressively, and you use them to execute tasks that explicitly push your skills into the discomfort zone.
So you might use that time to draft an incredibly detailed educational script for your audience that breaks down the molecular chemistry of hair processing. Or to negotiate a complex new supply route with a raw hair collector in Southeast Asia.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as you acquire these new, complex skills during your deep work blocks, you actively document them. The source talks about keeping a business ledger.
A capital log.
Right. Human memory is flawed. By keeping a physical ledger of the rare skills you are actively acquiring, like actually writing down, today I mastered the specific chemical lifting process for raw donor hair. You hold yourself accountable to continuous, deliberate growth.
You never allow yourself to graduate from being a student of your craft.
Never.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, right now? We have covered a massive amount of psychological and strategic ground today. The overarching takeaway is this: you have permission to ignore the fairy tale.
Absolutely.
Stop waiting for a magical, friction-free feeling of passion to strike you before you fully commit to your business. Instead, embrace the deliberate blue-collar practice of a craftsman.
Put in the uncomfortable reps.
Yes. Isolate yourself for deep work. Hunt for your weaknesses and build an undeniable reservoir of career capital.
And once you hold that rare currency, use it to purchase autonomy.
Carefully navigate around the traps of fake control, use small mathematical bets to test your ideas, and keep climbing until you reach the cutting edge of your industry where your true, world-changing mission is finally visible.
And this raises an important question, right? A final thought to really mull over as you go back to your day. If the science is correct, if passion is not something you discover out in the world, but rather a reflection of your own inner growth, your competence, and your resilience, then the ultimate joy of your career isn't actually found in the flawless raw bundles.
It's not.
No, it's not found in the revenue spikes, and it's not even found in achieving absolute control over your schedule. The true joy is meeting the person you had to become in order to get there.
Meeting the person you had to become. That is incredibly powerful. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Take these strategies, stop worrying about whether you have magically found your calling, start producing undeniable value, and go become so good that the market simply cannot ignore you.